620, Michael Cohen, 1320 WILS. Have you heard about this thing? It's called low T. You probably have seen the commercials. It's testosterone, and apparently for men, as we get older, we have lower testosterone levels in our blood. And so there have been treatments where they inject men with testosterone. And now the first lawsuit against Eli Lilly by a man who says he wasn't told that he could end up having heart problems because of this testosterone. Dr. Richard Lee is a clinical professor of medicine at Stanford University School of Medicine. They're also the medical director at GeneSolve. Gene-solve.com is the website. Dr. Lee, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for talking with me.
Yeah. What do you think about this low T? Is it really a true academic? Uh-huh.
This is very interesting. I mean, the article is published in one of the New Jersey newspapers, and it's not surprising because if you look up most prescription drugs through a Google search, right next to any information on the drug, you'll see ads from various lawyers that are trolling for lawsuits for this. Now, this one gentleman, we don't know. I haven't read his medical chart, but my assumption is he had a fairly increased risk of heart disease, and maybe that wasn't looked at. And again, maybe he was taking too much testosterone. We don't know the dosage, but it was certainly a short interval between when he started therapy and when he had this event.
So wait, should older men even be taking this testosterone, you think?
Well, it only if they have a true clinical need for it. It's really kind of overhyped, and a lot of people are just running to it because they think it's the fountain of youth and the panacea, and they never bother to look and ask, well, why is the testosterone low? What are the other physiologic factors that are bringing it down?
Okay, but wait, when you get older, does your testosterone level decrease?
Yes, but not hugely. Roughly about anywhere from 12 to 24%. Not nearly as much as estrogen in women, which drops to 0. So if you have good testosterone as a young man, there's a fair chance you'll have it as an older man, except for all the things that bring it down.
Okay, well, what are the primary things that really drop the testosterone level?
Well, number one is actually stress. If your body is coping with a great deal of it, your body produces stress hormones, and it makes less of the sex hormones. Secondly, if you've had some kind of injury to your brain, your brain won't ask for testosterone. Mm-hmm. Other issues, if you're on certain medications, they will shut down your body's natural testosterone production. Those are more common causes rather than some injury to the gonads, if you will.
Okay, so it's been a real campaign, though. I mean, the commercials are all over the TV, these low T commercials. Are many people getting this treatment that really don't need it?
Well, in my opinion, yes, because they're not bothering to correct the underlying cause. We found patients where we correct deficiencies in vitamin D, in marginal thyroid levels, mm-hmm. and certain other digestive and pre-hormones. We get those all normal without drugs, and we've had testosterone levels rise by 200 to 400 points, which is as good as you'll get with injections and without the risk. 200
to 400 points. What is the risk of these testosterone injections?
The main risk is a form of delivery. When you inject a man with hormone, you're giving a big boost of it, and most of these injections are done every 2 to 4 weeks. So you're getting this spike of testosterone, and the first thing it does is it raises your cholesterol level when you get that much testosterone. It also raises not only red blood cells, but also the blood clotting factors that all put you at higher risk of a heart attack or stroke if you're high risk already. So, generally, if we're putting anyone on testosterone, we're using a low-dose transdermal cream that's delivered every day rather than one big shot in the butt, which tends to make men go through hormone cycles.
I'm talking to Dr. Richard Lee, the medical director at GeneSolve. Gene-solve.com is the website, also a professor of medicine at Stanford University. So, I mean, what is the upside? So if you have slightly obese, you said, 12%, 24%, so at the worst you'd have 3/4 of the testosterone you had as a young man?
Well, yeah, and that's because of all the things that bring on obesity. They include being pre-diabetic, being also higher levels of circulating stress hormones, which steal from your sex hormones. So you correct the underlying cause, it gets better.
So you start taking testosterone. What happens to you physically and mentally?
Well, if you do it right, you have more physical energy, more mental energy. Your mood improves, particularly men who are on the verge of depression, where it's due to low hormones. Lean body mass. You don't get more muscular, but you have less body fat. Mental concentration tends to go up, and also recovery from any exercise. So if you exercise, you're not as beat down the next day. You can keep at it, and that helps you lose weight and correct the risk factors that take you towards diabetes and obesity in the first place. But this is with normal physiologic doses. This is not mega doses.
Right. This is with the cream you're talking about. But you're saying basically as a man has less testosterone, 12%, 20, whatever it is, 20% less, the creams actually do help that kind of a guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're treating any condition, you don't just give something to them without measuring what the outcome is. So if you give someone a hormone every day, particularly a man, the risks are far less. They don't get the side effects of abnormal blood cell populations or nearly as many abnormal cholesterol changes.
So let me ask you this. So are you saying that as we decline in testosterone as we get older as men, that we would benefit in general from getting some additional testosterone this way?
Some would, but only if their levels are brought to within normal physiologic range. If they're in normal range already, then there's no reason to put them on testosterone. If they're low, you figure out what's making them go low in the first place. You correct that, and you may not need to put them on testosterone, or you don't need to put them on as much. So most men, every man who's low should benefit from it. Not everyone who gets it does, and if you give them too much, and you give them in little big shots now and then, that's where you run into problems.
Okay, you said it could cause increased cholesterol, increased blood clotting. So is there an argument that this stuff could cause a heart attack and heart issues?
It could contribute to it, and almost all the outcomes studies showing men who had increased risks of heart attack were older veterans with known pre-existing condition or known cardiovascular disease, and they were getting their testosterone in once-a-month shots or injections.
Which is the worst way to do it. Right.
Yeah. And that's where the biggest danger comes. You know, this guy who's suing Lilly for Axiron, he was using probably one of the best forms and probably using it appropriately every day. And the question is whether it caused a heart attack is going to have to be proven.
Right. This is billions of dollars is going into this testosterone, not injections, but the creams right now. Right. People are buying this left and right. Is that fair to say?
Well, they have to be prescribed it, which generally means they have to have testosterone levels that are low enough that insurance companies will pay for it, and it's justified. Whereas you go to these low T clinics, it's paid for out of your pocket. They're not going to ask for insurance. They're not going to have to justify it. And they just give you a shot.
Gotcha. And that's where, but people, it must make people feel good if it's selling this well.
Yes, well, it could be a placebo effect. If someone is truly low in it, they should feel better when they're on it. If they don't need that much, you're not going to get as much benefit. In fact, the risk of harm goes up.
The harm goes up, and you don't actually feel that effect.
There is there's a certain point beyond which you actually feel worse, and it messes with your other hormones aside from any heart disease risk. I'm looking at an article in that great medical journal, the Wall Street Journal, and it cites a study of 24,000 Medicare patients where testosterone actually reduced the risk of heart attack and lowered it by 30%. So there's arguments going on either side.
It's a complex, certainly a complex issue. And thank you for your insight. Dr. Richard Lee, clinical professor of medicine at Stanford University, School of Medicine there, also the medical director at GeneSolve. GeneSolve, gene-solve.com is the website. Dr. Lee, thank you.
You're welcome. Good talking to you.